I find myself in this really weird limbo where like my mindset is not congruent with my reality. It has been a month of me slowly uncovering what I have inside of me. The things that I've learned that have been a contributor to my own suffering. It's made me start to really be able to have the space to be like, why am I scrolling on YouTube right now? Why, like, those little moments of like, I could go on my computer and get some work done, but I really just want to sleep. And those, like, those little moments, I've still been having moments where I might smoke more than I need to. I definitely do. And I'm getting to a point now where I'm realizing, like, yo, even just like more than a few days a week is too much because it throws off my rhythm. It keeps me up at night. It suppresses my emotions that I'm actually feeling. And even the joy that I felt from having it or doing it more is weaning. I don't even feel as much joy anymore. I just feel like, oh, I'm only doing this to like feel like push things down. It's just making me less negative, but it's not making me necessarily more positive. Like, not in a real way. Where I'm like realizing like, oh, why am I not more disciplined? Why am I not more focused? Why am I not just on it? Why am I not locked in? Well, there's caveats to that. One, I have a bad mindset. Like, even though I've had a persistent gritty mindset to get out and to be like, there's things can be better. It was easier to make more disciplined choices when the rest of my options were shitty. And I still was like distracted on my phone, but I realized that like now that my options are not as shitty, I'm still going on my phone because that's what's comfortable to me. But I'm just speaking for myself, and I'm just so fucking tired of feeling sorry for myself, honestly. And it's weird because like there's a lot of grief involved and a lot of grief I need to feel. But I think instead of grief, I am like instead of grief, what I'm looping on is self-pity. I feel like I'm avoiding grief through self-pity. I hate that is so defaulted in my brain. Before I would just be like, man, this really sucks, but I would hide that through joy and like putting that down and suppressing it and trying to be more positive about things, just fueled by something inside of me that's like, life can be better, and it can. And even though there's small moments, like, it can get better than this because, like, if you give up, you lose. If you accept it in a way of, like, it's hopeless, if you give into despair, you're cooked. And I've gotten real close to giving into despair. I've dipped my toe in it. It is the worst option, and you shouldn't give into it. And if you do whatever you can to crawl out of that hole. Find God. Find people. You need hope. In this world, you need hope. Because we don't got much else. But you need hope. And that sounds corny, and I don't give a fuck. Even if it is corny, it's true. You need hope because what are you going to do? Because if you give up on hope and you give up on the things that like could be better, even if the world can't be better, you control that. Your life can, and the people around you can be better because you're better and because of the hope you have. Because if you give up on hope, You give up on all of that ideas. And you basically are just resigning yourself to letting the world be as shitty as it is, and then eventually probably contributing to that shittiness because your hope is snuffed out. Because you don't see the point in trying anymore and trying to be better, or be a better person, or be a better human. So I'm never going to give up on hope. And there's moments where I might trick myself into thinking that, but it pisses me off. It pisses me off that I still fall into the trap of like walking down that path. Not necessarily walking all the way to the pit of despair, but I feel like my mind just loops around that entrance. It goes back and it'd be like, oh, you know, thinking things aren't going to get better, thinking things won't change. And it pisses me off that that is the mindset that I've had. And granted, that's one of my weaker aspects, is the fact that like I've defaulted a lot. Like I self-pity in situations, and it doesn't help because it keeps you stuck in it. And because of that, it's just like a little bit of despair. It's not fully despair, but it's part of like, oh man, woe is me. There are people in so many worse situations, and I've been through a lot, and I'm trying to give myself more credit for that. But I'm still in this limbo of like, I'm still going back to it. It's still in my brain. It's still like, it's still in my circuitry. And it pisses me off because I know that I'm more than that. I know that that is given into my weakest self. And it's so easy to fall into my weakest self sometimes because I genuinely believed that I was. And despite everything I've been through, poverty, being a caretaker for a disabled parent, intense adult level like commitment to an athletic and artistic pursuit, giving up part of like huge chunks of my childhood, moving across the country 3 fucking times for that, and then failing at just the starting line of a career. All while being the entire weight of my family's legacy on my shoulders. Being the one that's supposed to make it and ultimately fumbling the bag. And I'm not done. And I'm nowhere near at my peak. I promise you that. I'm a late bloomer. And I'm going to keep saying it. But I'm going to keep blooming while I'm doing that. I'm going to keep being better. I'm no quitter. I've gotten close, but I'm no quitter because Lord knows that there's a lot of other people that would have been what I've been through and would have given up on everything that they had before. And I haven't. Not even dance. What I gave so much of my life to. Not even dance as a whole. Because that's genuinely something that my spirit loves and feels alive in. But what I will give up on is giving up on myself. And what I'm working to give up on is giving up self-pity. Because that's not real grief. That's just like this fake cover-up bullshit grief where it's like you feel bad for yourself and you feel bad about things, but you don't actually process any emotions. You just kind of you kind of dance around the surface of all that shit instead of just letting it express itself and dive in, because you're so used to pushing it down that you can just stand on top of it and act like it's just almost like a surface level. But the whole iceberg of depth down there, you're not going into that water. You're just standing on the iceberg and being like, damn, this sucks, huh? My life sucks, huh? It's really cold up here. It's way fucking colder in the water, bro. But your body's not going to get used to the water if you don't go in. It's not going to get used to that cold. But I had to talk about that is I've been noticing it in myself, and it's just been frustrating me a lot. And I think that anger is good because it's realizing, like, hey, the anger that I'm feeling now is anger I didn't get to feel before. But the point is here is to just, kind of kick myself in the ass a little bit. And I say this, stop pitying yourself. Pitying yourself is no different than people being like, oh, poor thing. Like, when people are like, oh, poor thing, do you feel better? You might feel validated, but you don't feel better. You just feel someone notices my pain, right? And that's like sympathy, right? That's sympathy. That's like recognizing someone's pain. That's not empathy. And it's definitely not compassion. Because those are the things that you need. Empathy and compassion. Empathy for yourself so that you're actually able to feel what you're holding back on. And compassion for yourself and from other people. But mainly for yourself. And the difference between that is that compassion works to alleviate your suffering. If you're still stuck in a cycle where you're contributing to your own suffering and you're not trying to better it or work to move on from it, you're not being compassionate to yourself. And self-pity is none of those. Sympathy, self-pity is the most surface level, like, BS version of it. It's the most baseline, like, socially acceptable way to, like, acknowledge, hey, that's tough. Or, like, man, that sounds hard. And sometimes, like, validating people like that, sometimes emotionally, like, they need that. It's important for people to recognize that. But empathy and compassion are much deeper levels to that. And I think people who have dealt with trauma are used to sympathizing with themselves, but not empathizing or being compassionate. And on those deeper levels, when you're able to feel what you feel and then understand, not just understanding the pain, feeling it, and then working to alleviate it, getting there, that's where things start to change. So thank you for your time today, y'all. I definitely don't think it'll be this long, but I think this ramble at the end here, that might be definitely worth cutting up and putting up for maybe like 15 minutes or something. So deuces, y'all. Much love. God bless. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.